Hare Krishna. So we'll begin with our prayers. Om Ajnanatirmirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuro Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So we are continuing our discussion from Chaitanya Caritamrta. We are on Madhya lila and we'll be discussing chapter 20. We are continuing our discussion from chapter 20. In this chapter, we are hearing the wonderful instructions which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given to Sanatana Goswami during his stay in Varanasi. Mahaprabhu taught him for 2 months elaborate instructions. So in this chapter, we have heard since beginning of this chapter how Sanatana Goswami ultimately reached Varanasi and Mahaprabhu welcomed him very nicely. Ultimately started giving instructions, because Sanatana Goswami asked 4 questions. Who am I? Why I am suffering in this world? Keami kene amara jare tapatray. Third question he asks, I do not know how to inquire about sadhya and sadhan. Can you please tell me about the sadhya and sadhan, the goal of life and the process of obtaining it? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he starts describing our identity, the famous words, Jivera Swarupa Hoy Krishnera Nityadas. He describes the various potencies of Krishna, Chit Shakti, Jiva Shakti, Maya Shakti. He describes various characteristics. He describes the process of sadhan and sadhya as they are described in the scriptures. To describe these 2 things, Mahaprabhu describes Sambandha, Abhidheya, and Prayojan. What is our relationship with Krishna? He describes the story of a person who has lost his treasury, who has lots of treasury from his father, but he doesn't know where to find it. He describes the process of sadhana bhakti, prema. He describes the glories of Krishna, Krishnera Swarupa. He starts describing the various avatars of Krishna, and that is what we are continuing our discussion with. He describes how Krishna has Vaibhava, he has Swayam Rupa, Swayam Prakasha, and Tadekatma forms. And elaborate description we have heard so far about these various expansions. And last time we were, I think, discussing verse number 272nd, 273rd. We had completed till verse number 273rd. So from 272nd verse onwards, Mahaprabhu starts describing Purusha avatars. He describes 5 types of avatars. Shakti-avesh avatar was the last one he is going to describe. He begins with Purusha avatar, then lila avatar, then guna avatar, manvantar avatar, and then he will describe Shakti-avesh avatar. We are continuing our discussion from Purusha avatars. Mahaprabhu describes when the Supreme Lord glances over the material energy, she becomes agitated. And that is how the Lord injects the living entities in the womb of Mother Nature. The glance of the Lord is actually Lord Shiva, because Lord never comes in touch with the material energy. And Srila Prabhupada writes how the Supreme Lord, he gave knowledge to Brahma in the beginning of the creation. Tene Brahma Ridaya Adi Kavaye. So Supreme Lord cannot be a dull matter. And he doesn't do it directly. The word used is Swanga Visheshabhasa Rupe. So what is this Swanga Visheshabhasa Rup of the Lord? That is Lord Shiva. He touches Lord Shiva in the form of he touches Prakriti in the form of Lord Shiva. Because this Prakriti Sparshan, the word used is Prakriti Sparshan, the Lord's glancing over material energy. He doesn't come directly in touch with the Lord, with the material nature. So Prabhupada writes in detail about the position of Lord Shiva, Shiram Yathadadivikara Vishesha Yogat. Then we'll continue what happens next. At that time, when the Lord impregnates material nature, Prakriti, with the living entities, Kala, Karma, and Swabhava, under the influence of time and the modes, the agitation starts in this combination. And then ultimately, this Prakriti, also called as Pradhan, also called as Dravya, gets transformed into Mahat Tattva, or the word used here is Hiranmaya Mahat Tattva. Hiranmaya Mahat Tattva means it is very, very effulgent, because this is made up of the living entities put together. Srila Prabhupada quotes Lord Kapila, who is describing to his mother Devahuti the relationship between the matter and the Supreme Lord. And he tells that how Supreme Lord is the original cause of all the living entities. Life does not come from matter. Life comes from life. Life is never created by putting chemicals together. Only a living element can give rise to other living element. Dead matter cannot give rise to life. Prabhupada, he would give an example of how foolish scientists are. They are thinking that the dead matter can give rise to life. Millions of years ago, in the primordial soup, the elements, they came together, they combined to form molecules, and then they form amino acids, they form proteins, and then suddenly they came together as a cell, and in that cell, life came. It doesn't happen like that. Prabhupada gives an example of scorpions coming out of the pile of rice. And somebody says, oh, just see, the rice has given birth to scorpions. It is not possible. Rice will never give birth to scorpions, because there were eggs laid by scorpions. So now in the due course of time, the scorpions are coming out. So this is called as Vrishchika Tandul Nyaya. So scientists, they are not able to understand this. Prabhupada writes that life comes from life. The whole book, Prabhupada has written on this. Mahaprabhu continues, in due course of time, the Supreme Lord, who is Mahavaikunthanatha, he is the Lord of all the Vaikuntha. So that Mahavaikunthanatha, through his agency as Mahavishnu, he placed the seed in the womb of the material nature. And Prabhupada writes, just like women cannot beget children without a man. Living entity cannot beget living, material nature cannot beget living entities without being touched by the Lord. And Prabhupada says in every system of religion, it is said that God is the Supreme Father. So Supreme Father means there should be a mother also. So who is the father and who is mother? That is not so clear. And Prabhupada says, any religion who does not accept Krishna or God as a supreme absolute father, that is called as Kaitava Dharma. It is cheating religion. And in this world, which is full of cheating religions, because nobody wants to understand who is our real father. All the religious systems, they are just bringing one to material conceptions of life. Nobody is actually taking one to moksha. Moksha is a very high platform. Dharma, artha, kam. At max, enjoy life. And then when you get frustrated, then you think about moksha. But Bhagavatam begins with Dharma projita kaitavatra paramo nirmatsaranam satam. All the cheating type of religions are rejected in Srimad Bhagavatam. That's where Bhagavatam begins. Nothing less than pure devotional service is described. So therefore, actual religion means to make one understand that God is the father of all living entities. And then Mahaprabhu describes the details, the technical details of the creation, which is described in Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 3rd canto, many times. 5 times the creation process comes. How the Lord glances on Prakriti, then it gets agitated. It becomes Mahatattva. Primarily, the Mahatattva is in the mode of goodness. That is called a Sutra Tattva. Then it gets transformed into mode of passion and ignorance. Mahatattva in the mode of ignorance, that is called as Ahankar. And then Ahankar, which is predominantly in the mode of ignorance, gets further differentiated under the 3 modes. Ahankar in the mode of goodness brings about mind and the 10 sense devatas. Ahankar in the mode of passion brings about all the working senses and knowledge acquiring senses along with pranavayu. And Ahankar in the mode of ignorance brings about all the elements and the tanmatras. So Mahaprabhu describes all these things, that the 3 types of ego, they are the source of all the demigods, the controlling elemental demigods, and the karmendriyas and pranendriyas, jnanendriyas, and the senses and the material elements. So Prabhupada writes in detail about that. The 3 types of ego are technically called as Vaikarik Ahankar, Tejas Ahankar, and Tamas Ahankar. Vaikarik Ahankar, that is Ahankar in the mode of goodness. It gives rise to the mind and the 10 controlling elemental devatas. They are not creation of Brahmaji. They are creation of the Supreme Lord directly. And this mind, the predominating deity of the mind is Aniruddha, an expansion of the Lord. Then Tejas Ahankar gives rise to senses, and the predominating along with the intelligence. And predominating deity of intelligence is Pradyumna. And the Tamas Ahankar gives rise to elements and the Tanmatras. So Sankarshana is the predominating deity of this Ahankar. So that is what is described. We have heard in Bhagavatam many times this hierarchy. And then Mahaprabhu goes into the detail of what happens next. Now all the elements, they are formed. All the 23 elements are formed. Now what? The Devatas, they cannot put these elements together to form the universe. So these Devatas, they pray to the Lord. They pray to Lord Mahavishnu. And third canto describes in great detail the prayers of the Devatas. Beautiful prayers they offer. And as a result of that, the Lord sends his energy. And that energy is called as Vibhrat Shakti or cohesive energy. This cohesive energy binds these elements together, and these elements, when they come together, they form the universal shell. It is a very, very effulgent shell. This universe lies inactive for 1,000 years on this causal ocean, floating 1,000 years. Nothing happens inside it. And then Mahaprabhu describes that, these universes, they're floating in the air that Mahavishnu exhales. And these are like the atomic particles which we see in the sunshine. And all these universes, they are created when the Lord exhales, and they are destroyed when the Lord inhales. They re-enter the body of the Lord Mahavishnu. Yasyaikanishya shitakala mathavalambya jivanti loma vilaja jagadandanatha Vishnur mahansa ihayasya kala vishesho govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Brahmaji is describing this. With every breath, millions of universes are coming out of the body of Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu, he is the super soul of entire cosmic manifestation. Just like our body has a soul, super soul, and the subtle body. First super soul, then the soul, then subtle body, and the gross body. Similarly, this entire universal body also has a super soul. That is Mahavishnu. That this universe, the entire super soul of this entire cosmic manifestation is Mahavishnu. The super soul of entire universe is Garbhodakshai Vishnu. And who is the prime soul of this universal body? That is Brahmaji. What is the subtle body of this universe? That is called as Hiranyagarbha, the accumulation, the combined accumulated form of all the living entities put together. That is the subtle body of the universe. And then the gross body of the universe is the Vairaj Brahma or the planetary systems. So Mahavishnu is the super soul of entire cosmic manifestation. And from Mahavishnu comes Garbhodakshai Vishnu. So now Mahaprabhu starts describing about Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Who is this Garbhodakshai Vishnu? So Mahavishnu, as he sent his Vibhrat Shakti, all the elements, they came together. They formed a universal shell. It was still lying inactive. Now Mahavishnu expanded himself as Garbhodakshai Vishnu and entered each and every universe. Jagrihe Paurusham Rupam Bhagavan Mahadadivi Sambhutam Shodashakalam Adao Loka Sisrikshaya. That Supreme Lord, Mahavishnu, he expanded and entered each and every universe as Garbhodakshai Vishnu. So now, as Mahavishnu is now in the form of Garbhodaksha Vishnu in each and every universe, and he is seeing there is no place for him to lie down. He is seeing darkness everywhere. So what he does, from his body comes out the perspiration. And that perspiration, Mahavishnu, Garbhodaksha Vishnu is perspiring. So by his perspiration, he fills half of the universe. And that half of the universe is called as Garbhodak Ocean, Garbhodak Sagar. And then Mahavishnu and Garbhodaksha Vishnu, he lies down on this causal ocean, on this Garbhodak ocean, on the bed of Ananta Shesha. As he lies down from the navel of this Garbhodaksha Vishnu, a lotus flower emerges. And on top of this lotus flower appears the first living entity of the universe, that is Brahmaji. And this lotus, the stem of the lotus, that provides the raw material for the floating planetary systems. And that's how Supreme Lord, he creates this universe. He maintains this universe. In spite of doing all this, he is never ever affected by material qualities. We get affected by our creation. We get attached to our creation. If somebody creates, he establishes a business. Oh, he's so attached to it. I have made this. I have to maintain this. And if something happens, oh, why this is happening? Why my business is getting collapsed? But the Lord, that's the glory of the Lord. He creates this perfect system every moment. And he destroys also. He's never affected by it because he never created for his own enjoyment. This entire creation is only to facilitate the desires of the rebellious souls. All of us, we wanted to enjoy separately from the Lord. Lord is so magnanimous. He is putting his heart to create this material universe so that we can try to fulfill our material desires. And ultimately, hoping that one day we will understand that this is not worth it. There's no use trying to enjoy material things in this world because nothing gives satisfaction in this material world. All the pleasures and the pains of this world, they are only meant for one thing, to make us realize that this world is not for us. That's how he has made this world. With such complexity, such detail, but the fabric of this creation is to frustrate our desires. That's how Brahmaji has made this body. Shutritra dhatu birima muhurardhyamana Shitoshnavatha varshairitare Kamagninachutarusha cha sudurvarena Sampashyato manavrukramasidate me. Brahmaji is saying, "Oh, what type of bodies I have created? These living entities, they are disturbed externally, internally, subtly, externally. First of all, internally, hunger, thirst, kapha, pitta, always disturbed. Then, externally, shita, ushna, vata, varsha. That is not sufficient. Subtle level, the lust, the fire of lust is burning. And anger is never subdued. It is all made to make us realize that this world is not the right place for us to stay. So this creation should make us understand, just hearing this creation topics should make us understand that this world is made for one purpose, to make us realize that this world is not the right place to stay. Mahaprabhu continues that Supreme Lord, he created this universe, entered this universe as Garbhodaksha Vishnu, now created Brahmaji, entire planetary system is created, and ultimately, after the life of Brahma is over, Lord, in the form of his Rudra feature, destroys this entire creation. So basically, it is the Lord only who creates, who maintains, and who destroys this material creation. So Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh, they are the qualitative incarnations, they are the guna avatars. And then first Mahavishnu, then Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and then Garbhodakshaya Vishnu expands in each and every living entity's heart as Antaryami, Shirodakshaya Vishnu. The Shirodakshaya Vishnu is a third expansion. He is the one who lies on the milk ocean. The Lord, as a Shirodakshaya Vishnu, he is doing so many things for us. Bhagavatam describes nobody can repay, nobody can count whatever the Lord is doing for us. Nobody can express his gratitude sufficiently for whatever the Lord is doing for us. What he is doing? From inside and outside, he is working. We can never repay, we can never even write down what the Lord is doing for us. Even if somebody gets a life of Brahma, even if somebody gets a beautiful ability to compile poetry, still they cannot understand, still they cannot write. Antarbhayastanubhritam ashubham vidhunvan acharya chaitya swagatim vyanakti naivopayantyapachitiം kavayasthavesha brahmayushaप्युत्कृतमृद्धमुदं स्मरन्तः Antarbhayastanubhritam ashubham vidhunvan acharya chaitya swagatim vyanakti Naiva upayanti apachitim. One cannot express one's gratitude sufficiently for whatever the Lord is doing for us. Kavayastavesha, even if somebody is a great kavi. Brahma ayusha api, even if somebody has a life of Brahma. He is working inside and outside. Outside, he comes as spiritual master. Inside, he is there as Chaitya Guru, Antaryami, always guiding, always telling this is what we should do, this is what we should not do. So Lord is active, and he is more active for devotees. As Gita describes, for ordinary living entity, Krishna is Updrashta and Anumanta. He is overseer and permitter. But for a devotee, he is very, very active, always guiding. So that's how Mahaprabhu describes about the Purusha avatars. And then he starts describing about the lila avatars. He says, actually, nobody can count the lila avatars. They are unlimited. Matsya Kurma Raghunatha Narsimha Vaman Varahadi Lekhayara Nayae Ganan. Nobody can count the incarnations. It is unlimited. So, therefore, it is very, very wonderful to understand. Just a minute. There are unlimited avatars. Lekhayar Nayaye Ganan. Nobody can count how many avatars are there. He quotes a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, where all the Devtas in the womb, they are praying to the Lord who is in the womb of Devaki. They are saying, "O Lord, you are the best of the Yadu dynasty, and we are offering our prayers to you. please appear and diminish the burden of Mother Earth. You have diminished the burden of Mother Earth by incarnating in various forms as Matsya, Varaha, Kurma, Narsimha, Vamana, Parshuram, Ram. You have appeared in so many forms. Why? To reduce the burden. That's the function. That is the purpose of lila avatars. Brahmaji describes, after describing the Purusha avatars, he says, actually, now I'll describe what is dear to my heart. He says, in the description of the lila avatars, they are very, very beautiful. The verse says, Arishamananti lila avataran purushasya bhumnaha apiyatam karna kashaya shosham anukramishye iman supeshan. These discussions of the lila avatars, they purify the foul matter which is accumulated in the ears. What is the foul matter? We have heard so many of the things in our millions of lives. They have created a big impression in our mind. The more we hear the pastimes of Krishna, lila avataran purushasya bhumna apiyatam, the more we relish it, karna kashaya shoshan, they destroy all the foul matter. And they are very pleasing to hear. Supeshan. That's why Srila Prabhupada, he would say that before going to bed, you should read the wonderful pastimes of Krishna book, so that we can be conscious of the beautiful pastimes. And Bhagavatam is full of wonderful pastimes, wonderful incarnations of the Lord. All the wonderful pastimes are described. The more we absorb our mind in these pastimes, our desire to hear the stories of this world will reduce. Bhagavatam describes that it is so very astonishing that people, they are giving up nectar and they are drinking poison. All the topics of this world, they are like Ukatha. They are the pilgrimage of crows. They are Vayasam Tirtha. Why to spend time in discussing the pastimes of the people of the world, which drag our consciousness down? Try to absorb our mind in the pastimes of lila avatars. आश्चर्यमेतद्धि मनुष्यलोके सुधां परित्यज्य विषं पिबन्ति नामानि नारायणगोचराणि त्यक्त्वान्यवाचा कुहका पठन्ति. It is so very astonishing. Ashcharya. What is Ashcharya? People are giving up nectar and drinking poison. Sudham parityajya visham pibanti. Are pastimes of Krishna, they are nectarine. Pastimes of Mahaprabhu, they are nectar. पाइया मनुष्य जन्म जेना शुने गौर गुण हेना जन्म तारा व्यर्थ होइला पाइया अमृत धुनि पिए विषय गर्त पानी जन्मी ऐसे केने नहीं महिला. अरे why did you take birth? You are not hearing the pastimes of Mahaprabhu. It is like drinking poison. So these wonderful pastimes, Leela avatars are performed. They are meant to relish. They are meant to be absorbed in them. And the more we listen, the more we get purified. The desires to hear the things of the world will go away. The fact that we are not still giving up the desire to hear the things of the world, that shows that we have not dedicated ourselves to the process of hearing. अन्येतवेव मजानन्त श्रुत्वा नेभ्य उपासते तेपि चाति तरन्त्येव मृत्युं श्रुतिपरायणा. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, there are some people who attain perfection just by dedicating themselves to the process of hearing. Shruti Parayan. Although they may not be so much expert in Vedic scriptures, But if they just dedicate their life for hearing, Shruti Parayan, they'll also cross. That's the purpose of all these lila avatars. That's why Lord comes and performs so many pastimes, so that we can hear. Then Mahaprabhu starts describing about the guna avatars. He says, I have given some of the examples of the lila avatars, which are unlimited. Now I'll describe the guna avatars. In this material world, there are three modes which are working. Under the influence of mode of goodness, this world is created. In the mode of passion, the world is created. Then the mode of goodness, the world is maintained. And in the mode of ignorance, the world is destroyed. So these three qualities, Sattva, Rajo, and Tamagun, they are the driving factors. Who takes the charge of creation? The first living entity, the first born living entity, Brahmaji, he has many, many pious credits. He is predominantly in the mode of goodness. And that's how, although this personality, he is very Sattva personality, but this first class living entity, his mind is influenced by passion, because that is required to create something. So such a living entity, he is especially a devotee. No non-devotee is given the role of Brahmaji. It is described by one of the great acharyas. Kit janma ho yadi tua dasa bahirmukha brahma nahi mora asha. He says, I am ready to become an insect in the house of a devotee. But I don't want to become Brahma if Brahma is not a devotee. So now the question is, can non-devotee become Brahma? No, it will never happen. It is a way of emphasizing a point that I don't want to become Brahma if Brahma is not a devotee. For a devotee, association of devotees is the most important thing. Brahma is never a non-devotee. He is always the wonderful devotee of the Lord. And he is empowered by Garbhodakshaya Vishnu to do this creation. Prabhupada writes, among the many superior living entities qualified with pious activities and devotional service, one who is called as Lord Brahma is infused with the quality of passion by the will of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And that's how Brahma, he creates this universe. And then Mahaprabhu quotes the verse from Brahma Samhita. Bhasvan yathashma shakaleshu nijeshu teja swiyam kiyat prakatayatyapi tadvadatra brahmaya esha jagadanda vidhana karata govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Just like the sun manifests its brilliance in a gem, although gem is a stone, ordinary stone, but still the stone becomes effulgent because of the sun. Similarly, the Supreme Lord, he manifests his power in an ordinary living entity and he becomes Brahmaji and he manages the entire universe of creation. Somehow, if in some kalpa, there is no living entity suitable to become Brahma, then Lord himself takes the charge of becoming Brahma. That's how powerful Lord Krishna is. He can do anything. How powerful Lord is? Mahaprabhu quotes a verse spoken by Lord Balram. One time, Samba, son of Jambavati, he got attracted to the daughter of Duryodhan. He went and in the swayamvar of this lady, he kidnapped her. And all the Kaurava warriors, they became so angry. All of them, they attacked Samba and he fought valiantly. But ultimately, he was arrested by these warriors because they were many against one. The news was given to Lord Krishna and all the Yadus by Narad Muni. All the Yadus were ready to wage a war against Kauravas. Balram says, no, no, don't worry. I will do the mediation. These Kauravas, they respect me. So Balramji goes, and as these Kaurava warriors, they heard that Balramji has come. Oh, they were so very happy. They came out of the city with all the gifts, welcomed Balramji, and then Balramji, he, he disclosed why he has come. He said, you have arrested Samba along with his to-be wife. Please return Samba and his wife. And the Kuru warriors, they were so very angry. Just see, now a shoe who is supposed to be on the feet is trying to be on the head. These Yadus, they have their position because we have given them this position. We have allowed them to become kings. And now they are trying to be on an equal level to us. And as all the Kuru warriors, they are speaking, Balaramji, his anger is increasing. He's boiling with anger. His eyes are red. And Balramji, he very angrily said, what is the value of throne for Lord Krishna? You are saying that you have given throne to Lord Krishna and all the Yadus and Ugrasena. He is the master of all the planetary systems. All the great devatas, they are eager to accept the dust of the feet of the Lord. That dust of Krishna makes the holy places sacred. Even Brahma, Shiva, Lakshmi, and myself, we hanker for that dust. So that is the power of Krishna. He creates this entire universe. And all the devatas and all the Lokapal, they are at the feet of Krishna. He expands. And the portion of Lord takes the form of Rudra. So as Brahmaji, he creates. As Rudra, he destroys. Prabhupada writes, Lord Vishnu, he is a controller of Maya, but can he associate with Maya? He never associates with Maya. He does it through Lord Shiva. So basically, Prabhupada writes that conclusion is the incarnation of Shiva or Lord Brahma indicates the absence of the supreme power of Vishnu because both of them come under the control of, they get touched by the material modes. Lord Shiva also comes in touch with Maya and Brahmaji also takes the mode of passion. Lord Vishnu never gets affected by material modes. It is impossible. So therefore, these are, Prabhupada writes a very strong statement. He says, Brahma and Shiva, they are considered creations of Maya because they come in touch with the material energy. So basically, Rudra, although he is not a Jiva Tattva, but he is not Vishnu Tattva also. He is somewhere in between. He is Achintya, Bheda, Abheda, one and different. It's like a milk is transformed into yogurt. Yogurt is milk and not the milk. Kshiram yatadadi vikara vishesha yoga sanjayate nahi tata prithagasti heto yah sambhutam api tata samupaiti karyad govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So Lord Shiva, he is the eternal associate of Lord Krishna. He is always there in Goloka, in Vaikuntha, not Goloka. He has his eternal abode, the Kailasha, where he resides as Sadashiva. And that Sadashiva comes in this world, incarnates, and in that incarnation, he gets in touch with material nature. So that's how Shiva is not the supreme. Prabhupada writes, Krishna is never touched. Narayana paro avyaktat. He is never ever touched by the material creation. Lord Shiva, he is Mahabhagavad Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. But the pure devotees of the Lord, they don't come in touch with material nature. They are transcendental. But that is the service of Lord Shiva, to be in touch with material nature. He has to accept material nature. And then Prabhupada writes a beautiful thing. Lord Shiva has two aspects. Lord Shiva, when he comes in touch with material nature, then he is not considered free of Maya. But when he is free from material influence, that is a state of Mahabhagavat Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is Mahabhagavata. He's in touch with material energy also. At the same time, he is not in touch with material energy. That is his form of Mahabhagavat Lord Shiva. Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. Mahaprabhu continues. It is true that Lord Shiva is always covered by the three material coverings. He is a predominating deity of ego. He says he is covered by Vaikarika, Tejasa, and Tamasa Ahankar. And he associates with material energy and Ahankar. Harihi nirguna sakshat purusha prakrite paraha sa sarva drik upadrishta tam bhajan nirguno bhavet. Harihi, the Supreme Lord Hari, is nirguna. He is transcendental. Sakshat Purusha Prakrite Para. He is Purusha Prakrite Para. He is transcendental to the material modes. He never comes in touch with material nature. He is inside and outside of everything. He is Sarvadrik Upadrishta. He is the witness. He sees everything. And anyone who takes shelter of Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu, Tam Bhajan Nirguno Bhavet. They become free from the material modes. That's what Bhagavad Gita also says. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mam chayo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunana samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. By the practice of pure unalloyed devotional service, one becomes free from the modes of material nature. Brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So for creation, he takes the form of Brahma. For destruction, he takes the form of Lord Shiva. And for maintenance, he descends in the form of Vishnu. But Lord Vishnu never comes in touch with material modes, not even material goodness. He is transcendental. He is never touched by any modes. And Krishna is a source of this Vishnu. Mahaprabhu quotes this verse just like one lamp, one candle lights hundreds of candles, and all of them, they have same power, but there is one initial candle from which all the other candles have come. So Krishna is that initial candle. Deepar Chirevahi Dashantaram Abhyupetyam. So the conclusion is that Brahma and Shiva, they are devotee incarnations who carry out the orders of Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu is the maintainer. None of these Guna avatars, they have any doubts about it. Mahaprabhu quotes a conversation between Narad Muni and Brahmaji. It comes in the second canto. One time Narad Muni went to Brahmaji and said, Brahmaji, oh father, I think you are the supreme. By your own power, you create, you maintain, and you destroy this entire universe just like a spider. Urna Nabhi. Spider weaves the web, maintains it, and then eats the web himself. I think you are the supreme. Brahmaji says, only foolish people, they speak like this. He says, I am not at all creator. I'm just creating whatever is already created. The foolish living entities, Brahmaji first says, thank you for asking this question. You have shown a great mercy on me. Samyak karuणिकस्येदं vatsate vichikitsitam yadaham chodita soumya bhagavad virya darshane. You have allowed me to speak about Krishna. Only a person who is bewildered by material energy speaks like this. Because a person bewildered by material nature can't understand who is supreme. And they think this material nature is supreme. Sometimes they think they can become God. Mamaham iti durdhiya. They think in terms of I and mine. But I don't do anything. I just create whatever is already created by the Lord. Srijam srijami srishtoham. Srijami tanyuktoham harato hariti haro harati tadvashah vishwam purusha rupena paripati trishakti drik. He says, Srijami tanyukto. I am engaged by the Supreme Lord to create. Lord Shiva is engaged by him to destroy. Therefore, Supreme Lord in the form of Shirodaksha Vishnu, he maintains all the affairs of material universe. So that is how he describes Gunavatars. Then he starts describing Manvantara avatars. He says, O Sanatan, in every reign of Manu, one avatar of the Lord appears. Manvantara, Manudeva, Manuputra, Sureshwara, Rishayo Amshavatarascha, Hareh Shadavidam Uchyate. In every Manvantar, the Lord appears in 6 expansions. The ruling Manu, he is also an expansion of the Lord, Satyavesh. Jiva Tattva, not Vishnu Tattva. The prominent Devatas, the ruling Devatas, the sons of Manu, Manuputra, Sureshwara, the Indra, Rishayaha, the Saptarishis, and Amshavatar, the Manvantar avatars. They are all the avatars of Krishna. In one day of Brahma, there are 14 Manus, and in every Manu, one avatar of the Lord comes. So 14 avatars in one day of Brahma. That means 420 avatars in 1 month of Brahma. That means 5040 avatars in 1 year of Brahma. That means in 100 years of Brahma, 5,04,000 Manvantar avatars they appear. This is just avatars of one universe. There are unlimited universes. So there are unlimited Manvantar avatars also. There are unlimited Guna avatars, unlimited Lila avatars, unlimited Manvantar avatars. There is no limit. Because with every exhalation, universes are created. Mahavishnu exhales, universes are created. And then Brahma appears. And then every day of Brahma, one Manvantar avatar comes. How is it possible to speak about all the Manvantar avatars? So then Mahaprabhu gives a list of all the avatars in the 14 Manus. The list is given. We'll not go into the detail of that. And then comes the very interesting discussion of Yuga avatars. Mahaprabhu starts describing Yuga avatars. He says, Sanatan, now please hear about the Yuga avatars. There are 4 Yugas, Satya, Treta, Dwapar, Kali. In every Yuga, the Lord appears. And he appears in 4 colors. Shuklo, Raktas, Tatha, Pita. White, red, black, and yellow. White in Satya Yuga, red in Treta, black in Dwapar, and golden or yellow in Kali Yuga. as Gargumuni had told, Asan Varna Strayo Yasya Triyugo Anuvarnitaha Shuklo Raktasthapita Idanim Krishnatam Gataha. He describes the features of these avatars. In Satya Yuga, in Krita Yuga, the Lord appears in the four-handed form. Krite Shukla Chaturbahu Jatilo Val Kalambaraha Krishna Jina Paviktaksin Bibhrad Jata Bibhrad Danda Kamandalu. This form of the Lord has four hands, and he has Jata, Valkal Ambara. He wore tree bark, matted hair. He had a Krishna Jina. He wore a deer skin. He wore a sacred thread and a garland of Rudraksha beads. He carried water pot and the rod, Danda Kamandalu. That is a form of the Lord in Satya Yuga. In Treta Yuga, he had a reddish complexion. He had four arms, and his hair was golden. He manifested, his form manifested the Vedic knowledge. And as white incarnation, in Satya Yuga, a white incarnation of the Lord, he taught all the religion and meditation. What was that form? We have heard in Srimad Bhagavatam, Kardam Muni, when he prayed to Lord, he did tapasya. The Lord appeared in front of him. That form of the Lord is described as the Yuga Avatar of Satya Yuga, whitish complexion. Then, in Satya Yuga, people, they were very dedicated to spirituality, and they would meditate very easily. They would do meditation, tapasya. In Dwapar Yuga, the Lord appeared as a blackish form. Dwapare Bhagavan Shyama Pitavasa Nijayudha Srivatsadi Bhirankaisha Lakshanai. So the Lord appeared in his own form in Dwapar Yuga, blackish complexion, wearing a yellow dhoti, and have Srivatsa, Kaustubha. And this form is expanded as Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. So in Dwapar Yuga, the Lord was worshipped by this mantra. Namaste Vasudevaya, Namas Sankarshanaya cha, Pradyumnaya Niruddhaya, Tubhyam Bhagavate Namaha. This prayer comes in Bhagavatam. Karbhajan Muni speaks this. And by this mantra, the people of Kali Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, they would worship Krishna. And then he says, in the Kali Yuga, the Lord appears as Pitavarna. Pitavarna dharitabe koila pravartam. Prema bhakti dila loke loya bhaktagan. And in Kali Yuga, the Lord appeared in a golden form, and in that form, he spread this Sankirtan. He gave Prema Bhakti Dan. Dharma pravartana kore Brajendra Nandan. Preme gaye nache loka kore Sankirtan. This form of the Lord, he spread the Yuga Dharma of Sankirtan, and he would personally chant and dance in Prema Sankirtan. Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam Sangopangastra Parshadam Yagyai Sankirtan Apraya Yajantihi Sumedasa. Sumedasa, intelligent people, very famous verse. The Lord appears in Kali Yuga along with his associates. His form is, he is Krishna, but he is not having the complexion of Krishna, a Krishna. And only the most intelligent people worship this form. That is a form which is described in scriptures. So Mahaprabhu will describe in great detail about this form of Kali Yuga. And Sanatana Goswami tries to indirectly bring out from Mahaprabhu, who is this form? But Mahaprabhu doesn't, fall to the tricks of Sanatana Goswami. We'll discuss next time what happened next. We'll stop here. थैंक यू वेरी मच। हरे कृष्णा। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु की जय।